Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine and I have a lesson to share with you today. We're working through our mineralogy main lesson block. Here are some of the resources that we're using. I have my mineralogy main lesson block from Live Education and this is the lesson that we're going to be working on today. I have a couple of resources here as well. This book is on volcanoes and I also have mountains and volcanoes. This is one of my favorite books. I know it is outdated, but if you happen to find it at a thrift shop, I highly encourage you to pick it up. We also have our main lesson books. These are 9 inches by 12 inches. They do not have any lined pages, even though by this age, most of the main lesson books are a little bit smaller and they do have lined pages as well as blank pages. So today's lesson is going to be mostly an illustration that takes up one whole side of the page, and most of the written portion is going to be on the opposing page. I have left a section at the very bottom of this page for a chart, so like a table of sorts, to identify some of the aspects of our drawing. And I have included a religious portion to this lesson, but that's easy to omit if you'd rather leave it out. And that's just going to be a verse from the Quran that we're going to have in the upper left corner. So I'm going to start by doing sort of a rough outline of the image that we want, and then I'm coming back in with my color pencils. I mostly have the Lyra color pencils, but because this page is so big and the illustration is quite large, I ended up using the thicker Lyra color pencils that usually, say, grade 1 students would use, but that made it a little bit easier to fill in the bottom portion. So for an illustration like this, it probably would have been easier to do it on half a page or in one of the smaller main lesson books, but I am doing it on this full page, and with color pencils, it does take a little while to fill it all in. So I am thinking about how to work through the rest of these lessons in a way that the illustrations work well with our written portion, because we still need quite a bit of room for the writing. We're doing a cross-section of a volcano with the magma below, and the scale is not quite right. It should actually be a smaller mountain because the magma below and these different cavities are supposed to be tremendously large, like 90 to 100 miles just for that small section underneath the volcano that is horizontal to the volcano, and the section below should be several hundreds of miles, maybe even 1,000 miles, to show all of that magma below. So this is going to include a cloud of ash coming up from the volcano, as well as the volcano erupting with what looks like fire or magma coming out from the top of the volcano. Off to the side of the volcano, which later I'm going to label with the letter E, is going to be the vent pipe breaking through the side of the volcano. And then at the top of the volcano, there's also some lava coming out, and that is going to be labeled F, just to show that that's going to be the lava coming out. If we go backwards, that area underneath the volcano that's horizontal to the volcano, we're going to be labeling that D, and that's an intrusive sill. And then if you go all the way down to the largest portion of the magma, we are labeling that A, and that is intrusive batholith. And then off to the side, we have the letter B and C to indicate intrusive stock and intrusive dike. So all of the magma below the surface of the earth is called magma, and all of the magma that comes up above the surface of the earth is called lava. And depending on where the lava cools to produce rocks, it will either be an intrusive rock or an extrusive rock. And that is all part of the lesson, as well as even more information. At the top left corner, I'm including an ayah from the Quran, and this is the religious portion of the lesson, which for us is a pretty significant portion of the lesson. However, it is easy to omit if you'd rather not include religion. Instead, you could include a poem. Now that the illustration is complete, I'm going to go over it with my color pencils one more time just to enhance these colors. And also for the area below the volcano, I'm coming in with my color pencils one more time to give it a little bit more variation because it's not completely linear. There is like some movement to the soil and the layers of the earth underneath the volcano. One thing that we did not do for this illustration is to add a border. So I also went around the edges with whatever color was already in the illustration, and I just made it a little bit darker just to give the illustration something to contain it. I hope you enjoyed this look at our mineralogy lesson. If you'd like to check out some of the other lessons, you can find the playlist down in the description box below. If you'd like to see the materials that we're using as well as links to all of the resources, you can find that on the blog post that accompanies this video, and you can find that link down in the description box below. If you'd like to see how we're homeschooling on a daily basis, you can find me on Instagram at Pepper and Pine.